In today's episode of the Whiskey Tornado, we review Whiskey Advocate's Whiskey of the Year, George Dickel Bottled and Bond. Welcome back to the Whiskey Tornado. I'm your host, Lance, and today we're reviewing George Dickel Bottled and Bond Tennessee Whiskey. I had this recently at a double-blind Bottled and Bond tasting, and I was really shocked. Typically, I haven't been a big fan of George Dickel whiskey. However, in this double-blind, I actually placed it ahead of E.H. Taylor's Single Barrel and 1792 Bottled and Bond. 1792 Bottled and Bond is one of my favorite bourbons. So to see this go ahead of that, I was really shocked. I also love E.H. Taylor's Single Barrel. Now, in the single barrels, they can vary from barrel to barrel. So I do really think this was an unusual barrel of E.H. Taylor that we had, because it actually had a lot more dry peanut taste to it. Tasted more like a Heaven Hill product than a Buffalo Trace product. And I was shocked to see that it was an E.H. Taylor Single Barrel, because that is also one of my favorites. So George Dickel Bottled and Bond has been getting a ton of press recently because it was Whiskey Advocate's Whiskey of the Year. I don't know about all that, but I can confirm it's pretty good. So today, let's get a pour of the Dickel Bottled and Bond. This is 13 years old. 13-year-old Bottled and Bond whiskey. The color on it's really dark, really nice. Let's get a pour of it and get into the nosing, tasting, and rating. All right, guys, cheers. I have a nice pour of this. The color on it's fantastic. Just to kind of review my rating system here on the Whiskey Tornado. We rate it 1 through 4 plus. 1 is a don't buy, 2 is average, 3 is it's bar worthy. Anything higher than a 4 is buy 2, kind of throw price out the window and make sure to grab some. We rate it 0 to 1 on nose, palate, finish, presentation, availability, and value. And then we come up with our score, add all those together. All right, so let's get in the nose. Let's see, the first thing I get is cherry. I think it's cherry, fruity, caramel, and what is that note? It's actually like putty. Yeah, like clay or putty kind of, which isn't great. It's not horrible. The cherry that hit me first makes that better. And then there's some oak. So cherry, caramel, putty, and oak. How's that for nose? It's I'd say it's average. It's not blowing me away. It's not a gross nose. There's a couple layers there which I like. A little bit of complexity. So we're gonna go 0.5 on the nose. Let's go into the taste. Cheers. You know, a lot of people don't like George Dickel because somebody, I don't know who the first reviewer was, that said George Dickel tasted like a minerally kind of Flintstone vitamin taste. I can see that, but I think that does disservice to George Dickel, and I think so many people have heard that tasting note that it's kind of off-putting for them. Boy, the finish on this is good. Now, where I can see they get that, I think that note is more of a fruity cereal, like Fruity Pebbles. It has a Fruity Pebble note, which is different. And I think that's what's kind of throws people off about George Dickel. You have to go into this with an open mind. You have to realize that this isn't going to taste exactly like a lot of bourbons that you've had. It's got some of those traditional bourbon flavors to it. It's got the caramel, it's got the oak. It's almost like kind of like peanut butter and honey to it. A little bit. Yeah, I think that kind of nails it. A little bit of a peanut butter honey note and some Fruity Pebbles. But it also has that caramel, that sweet oak. There's a little bit of spiky mid pepper palate. That finish is actually better than I remember it being at the tasting I had. It's a better than average palate, but you have to go into this with an open mind. I think a lot of people go into this and go, whoa, that's different than what I'm used to, and instantly don't like it. But if you go into it knowing it's gonna be a little different, keep an open mind, I think you'll really enjoy these flavors. Try to get that Flintstone vitamin taste out. Think more peanut butter, honey, fruity pebble cereal, sweet oak. It's really nice, better than average taste. Yeah, I've really been enjoying this. I would say better than average. I'm gonna give the palate a 0.7 out of 1. I think it's that good. And I can see why Whiskey Advocate rated it as high as they did. Well, I don't know about as high as they did. I don't know if I go as far as saying Whiskey of the Year, even Bourbon of the Year. There's plenty of bourbons I think beat this out, but it's still a good, nice bourbon. So 0.7 on the palate. For the finish, I'm actually gonna go 0.6. It's a little bit better than average on the finish, and the finish is kind of like a milky chocolate to it that I really like. Yeah, like a milk chocolate finish to it. It's good. Presentation, nothing special on the presentation. Bottle, I don't really like the bottle. It's got a synthetic cork. Just for me. So presentation, we're gonna give that a 0.3. Availability, also a 0.3 for me. I've never seen this on the shelf here. But the bar I was at that did the tasting sold me one of these, and so I was able to get one. But with Whiskey Advocate's rating within the bourbon boom like it is, somebody rates something Bourbon of the Year, Whiskey of the Year, they're gonna be gone and hard to find. So yeah, 0.3 on availability. Value, this is a bottled in bond 13-year-old bottle for $39. If you can find it, the value is insane. And so good, and the taste is so good that I'm gonna give it a 0.8 in value, almost about as high as you can go. So that gives George Dickel Bottled and Bond Tennessee Whiskey a final score of 3.2. Definitely bar worthy. I think this is definitely rated pretty high among all the tasters that were at the tasting. I think this is a great whiskey for somebody just starting out in whiskey. It's a good gateway bourbon, especially with those fruity pebble kind of notes and honey. Give this one a try. I think you guys will love it. 3.2 on the Whiskey Tornado score. Cheers, guys.